Okay, well, I'm gonna begin. I know Carrie's probably in the bathroom, but she's on her way soon. So, but in the interest of time, hello and welcome to the the final meeting of the Alamos History Association for this season. We had a wonderful year with classic and contemporary Mexican cinema, variety of wonderful presentations here at the Hacienda, a couple of well-received field trips, and a couple of special events. Today, we're going to show a documentary called Los Últimos Zapatistas Idos Olvidados, The Last Zapatistas, Forgotten Heroes. It was released in 2002, and the film documents the surviving participants of the 1910 to 1920 Mexican Revolution's Liberation Army of the South. That was, of course, the army led by Emiliano Zapata. The Zapatistas helped to topple the 30-year reign of president turned dictator Porfirio Diaz. In the late 1990s, filmmaker Francisco Tabone went to Zapata's stronghold in the state of Morelos in search of surviving witnesses to that chapter of Mexican history. The film's in three parts. First part meets the survivors of the surviving Zapatistas. The second part, you learn about Zapata kind of through the eyes of the Zapatistas. And in the third part of the movie, you may remember that in the 1990s, there was a separatist movement in the state of Chiapas, led by a group of people who call themselves the Zapatistas, named after Zapata. And in the last part of the movie, the current day Zapatistas have a meeting with the old guard Zapatistas. And that's kind of the third part of the movie. After the film, we're going to have our annual business meeting. Some of you may notice that we have Zoom up today, and that's because, of course, a few of our members are not in town. Yeah, the revolution lasted until approximately 1920. Yes. Carranza was killed by Obregon a little later, and I forget who. Carranza, there was kind of as you know, there was Pancho Villa in the north, there was Zapata in the south, there were various other armies, there were various other factions led by politicians. And Carranza, like they said in the movie, Zapata or Villa could have took the presidential chair. They didn't. The diplomat Carranza kind of took it over, and then he kind of wanted to get rid of the tough guys. And that's what happened. Then later on, there was a group led by Obregon. Both Carranza and Obregon are Sonorans, actually. Are what? Sonorans. They're from around here. And Obregon took over, and as you may know, Obregon was assassinated, I want to say 28. And Obregon was part of the revolution, or part of the government? He was part of the government, but he came later after the revolution had more or less ended. But I'm going to go ahead and call our annual meeting to order. I'm going to give a brief review of the past season, along with some thoughts about our next year's activities. And this is going to be followed by check-ins from board members we have. We have a number of reports that Errol's going to cover. And I'm just going to start. We had a dynamic season of films, presentations, field trips, and special events, including today's documentary. We showed 7 films, 4 from Mexico's Golden Age, 2 contemporary films, and of course, this one documentary. We had presentations by Trini Rangel, Rafa Wang, Errol Zimmerman, Catherine Callingham. Trini and I had led field trips to Muniwasa and to Huatabampo. We had an opening celebration for the children's book that the History Association sponsored, and Errol will talk a little more about the book later. And with the help of Angelica Page, we held a fundraiser for the book. And we also had a project of handing out books to Alamos school children. Donna McGee, with help from the History Association, documented stories about the effects of Hurricane Norbert, the effects that the hurricane had on our community. And they're going to be on public display this weekend at the Deaf Auditorium. We are already busy planning programs for next year's calendars. We plan one or two more field trips than we had this year because they were popular and we were asked by the participants to have more. So we're going to try to have a couple more field trips. I'm in contact with the Northern Jaguar Project, who showed a film at the Boer Center a few weeks ago, and I contacted them and talked to them about putting together a presentation. Trini and I are planning a presentation by Ateska students. We're looking at possibly doing a little series on the families of Alamos, and we're looking at having students kind of lead and do those presentations. We're always open to suggestions. And we're going to move on to check-ins and reports now. We're going to start we wanted to start with Trini, who unfortunately isn't here. It's too bad because he was actually very involved with a lot of things this year. He presented 2 presentations. He was kind of the lead on our field trips and kind of did the legwork to get things established. And we also have some plans on, he is kind of now our Itasca connection. So I was hoping to have him, but it looks like we're going to start with Errol, who's not only going to report for himself, but also give summaries of reports that he was given by our treasurer and librarian, Joan Powell, and by the head of our department that's doing the interviews and such, Ellen Ryan. So Errol, take over.
Well, I will, but I first want to thank you, David, for a very successful year. And what a powerful documentary. I'm just touched. I'm sad. Unfortunately, the goals of the revolution were not realized. Okay, I'm going to do a screen share, and hopefully, I is there any order that you want me to use?
No, the floor is
Okay,
yours.
I'll just have the order that I have um, on my desktop. Okay, boom, boom. Let's see. Okay, let's go to Ellen's then, and hopefully, okay, this is the interview committee report. Okay, and I'll go ahead and give this, and then I'll stop that share and go to the next. But she writes, I'm trying to, there we go. Okay. She said, I transcribed the November 3rd, 2010 interview with Rosa Emma Ruiz. I tried to add this one and the March 18th, 2010 presentation to AHA about Pro Natura y Elena Chavarria to the AHA computer in Kathy's corner. Now, our computer, we're trying to add, I have many things to add to that computer and to the external hard drive. And I know she's working on it. I am also. I also added a document by Doug Reynolds of his mother and a summary of Don and Doris Wilcox by Joan Winderman. The programs supporting these documents and PDFs might need to be updated. I did this late in my stay in Alamos and didn't have time to complete the task to see if they were live. I worked with Donna and Karina to create a binder at the AHA Library for their interviews of people affected by Hurricane Norbert. The binder is located on the far right side of the bookcase and it's labeled. In total, there will be at least 10 interviews translated into Spanish and English. And this will be going on, this project. And I know that Donna and Karina they have many aspects for this. And there is that open house. David, I hope you can give some details on that, or we'll make sure that people know. I think it's March 18th, 19th, and 20th.
This weekend, I'm not sure of the time.
Yeah, it's 8:30 till 3 p.m. were the times that we had, but I'll double check. Okay, I'm going to stop that share and I'll try another share to see if we can get another one of these. Okay, this is the treasurer's report, and I'll put that share. If you can you all see the treasurer's report?
No, small.
It's small, but
Okay, let's see if I can make it larger. Boom. Yeah.
well, you can give us a good summary of it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry that I can't make it larger. But anyway, this will be on what we post on YouTube. I will have this full screen, so it will be visible there. Wells Fargo bank account, we have 4,647.04. Petty cash and the pesos, 6,100. And we also have $28 in the petty cash here, or I assume in Álamos. The income that we had from the fall of 25 to March of 26, the general income first of all, including memberships and donations, was 3,235 US dollars, 16,700 pesos. A lot of that was book money, but we'll get to that. The general fund income, the memberships, we had 22, 150 US, 7,800 pesos, and 300 pesos in general donations. The expenses for the, for the fall of 25 to March, we had $12 for the filing that we make every year to the Arizona Corporation Commission. And we had an ad for the directory, which I'll get to see when Carolyn and I get down there early next month. And that was 5,000 pesos. Now, a summary of the book for fifth graders that we worked on, and I'll have a separate report of the donations that we received from the membership and friends of the History Association was $3,976.83. The expenses that we paid for the book, which was the printing and some administrative costs, and for people who helped with it, was $1,865.16. So the balance of the book is 2,111.67. And we are working now to get increased funding on that. Are there any questions on that report? If not, I will stop that share and go to the next one. And the next one will be the program committee. I'll just read it to you, but it will be full screen on the video. The History Association program committee, and David and Pam and I were a part of that. And Barbara Kiernan, who left our board, gave it, but was helpful in this too, in planning the meetings. But we continued holding our meetings at 1 p.m. in the Hacienda. That worked out better than 10:30 in the morning. We had 5 movie nights, which we had a social time at 5 o'clock, and then followed by the movies at 6 o'clock there at the Hacienda de los Santos. We also had a movie matinee on November 20th. And that was the first time. And of course, if we call this documentary, that would be the second one. But we had the movies on October 30th. And then let's see, well, the first Thursday of every month. Trini gave presentations December 11th and 18th, and I gave a presentation on the 22nd of January, Raphael on February the 12th, and then Catherine last week had the presentation presenting local artists. So all told, that was we had something like 17 different events over the year. And then I have the movie nights, which ones they were. On October 30th, Nosotros los Pobres. December 4th, another Pedro Infante, Ustedes los Ricos. And then we had the Cantinflas movie was the matinee. And then the Pedro Infante, Jorge Negrete movie, Dos Tipos de Cuidado. And then our final movie of the year that we had was Frida, which I was not able to be in Alamos November 5th. We had a special presentation November 6th on the book, and that was at the Boer Center. And I hope that we can have a few more events there at the Boer Center over the year. And as David said, we distributed the book November 10th to the 14th. And David and also Carrie Winderman handed out books to the kids, and I photographed that, and we've used some of these pictures in our work to get a corporate grant for the future. The field trips David mentioned, so I won't go over that. Wonderful trips. I was able to participate in one of them. And this meeting was our only one by Zoom, and I will get that online. It's not on there, but we are putting up the new webpage for the History Association. What we have is up there, but it's not complete yet. But we do have all of our Álamos History Association YouTube videos that are up there, as well as some old YouTube presentations. Okay, that's the program committee report. David, Pam, do you have anything you want to add?
No, not really. I think we've covered it pretty well between my notes.
Oh.
Pam, do you have anything to add about the programs? Okay.
Okay, I'll stop that share and I'll go to the next share. I guess I'll do the photo archive committee. And again, I'll put it up there, but you won't be able to see it. But anyway, we are working. I'm very happy that Juan Carlos Olguin is working to get pictures from the families of Álamos. I have offered to help him. So has Juan Casanova with the Cultural Institute in Hermosillo. And we're hoping to get pictures, to get them scanned, and to build our library. We have a digital library of a number of pictures, but there are so many more that we want. And the idea of getting family pictures, I know Juan Carlos has already been successful, and I want to help him in any way that I can to get more pictures. So that's an ongoing project that we have, is to get pictures from the family, the people of Álamos, Álamos landscape, historical images, make sure they're scanned, get them onto our external hard drive in the library, and get them accessible. So we have some work to do in doing that. The pictures in City Hall that we did between 2020 and 2022, the Galeria de Presidentes, still looks beautiful. They had a storm though this past summer. We had a lot of rain, the roof leaked, and so 5 of those images were damaged. And I have reprinted those 5 and will bring them to Álamos in April. The frames are okay, but we have new mats and prints. And we also need to get a picture. I've offered to take it, but whoever takes it of our new presidente, because the last one we have there is Victor Balderrama. So we now have a new presidente, and we need to get his picture done. Okay, that's where we are. One other thing. Linda Adams, Ellen Ryan, Joan Powell, and I met. David might have been, I don't know, but we met in our Kathy's Corner room to talk about scanning and organizing the pictures that we have in the cabinet from previous foreigners, parties, different events that we have. We have a lot of pictures, and I know Linda is very interested in that, and we're working to organize and to scan those images. So that is an ongoing project that will be of the committee. Okay, I'll stop that share and go to the next one. And let's see. Okay, I guess we'll do the Children's Book Committee. And I'll share that. Almost Children's Book Committee. Boy, we're about through. I think the library is the only one. One thing that I want to mention, that Barbara Kiernan, who's no longer on the board, is working with Rotary, and we are hoping to get a commitment for financial support for more than 1 year of this project. Fortunately, the generosity of the friends and the board, we have enough funding for the second edition, and I'm working with Elena. I'll be working in April to see, first of all, make corrections. There are errors. Anything I do has errors, so there will be errors. I hope we get them all corrected. And I will work with Elena and the teachers to get ideas of any additions that we might need to make for the second book. One thing I'm going to do is each year that we do the book, I want to change the cover so that way I'll know year to year rather than have to put second edition. We'll know by the cover anyway which year that it was. And I've already mentioned there the funding that came in, and we're working with Scottsdale Sister Cities as well to see if that we can get funding, and also to see if they can use our books and we can order copies for them. When I'm there in April, Elena and David, I want to meet with you and Pam and others to get an idea of how many books we should order. We had an issue this year. People wanted them. People in our History Association, people connected with the community wanted to buy them, but we really had none to sell because that was not our goal. So we need to print up some additional copies, not necessarily to sell, but to have them available. And I need to get ideas from all of you, board, anyone, on what we need to do there. We have a wonderful book to sell, the second edition of our visitor's guide, and we're not looking to sell this to visitors or people, but we want to have copies for people who want them, and we'll need to work that part out. I think that's it. Yeah, questions.
We talked about buy one for the kid and get one for yourself. Remember we talked about that?
Well, David and I have talked about it. I didn't put that in the report, but we will be talking about that in April. That will be one of our discussions that we have on marketing the book for next year. And I have, anyway, well, in that last paragraph, but I didn't outline that because I'll save that until I've been able to talk with David and other board people and Elena and others to get some more ideas.
I couldn't hear what Melanie said. Melanie, what did you say? Well, when we were doing this, handing out, Carol and David and I said, so many people wanted to buy them, you know, in the Ringo community.
Yeah.
If you could buy one for yourself and buy one for a student, that would help fund it.
That would be the Alamos way to do a 1-for-2 sale.
Or a 2-for-1 or whatever. Hey, we might make it 10-for-1. Buy one and pay us for 10, but I don't know. But we have several good ideas.
Each
On
book
that.
is about 5.
Well, I think, are you finished? Do you have another report?
One more report, and I'll get that done real quick. Boom, boom, share. And let's see, the last one, Curry report. I think that's the last one.
Nice brief. Yay.
Yeah. Do you have another report, David? Because
I don't.
I think that's it. The library report is the last one. And Joan writes that she's continued to catalog and add books to the list that we have and articles. And I know when we met in the library in February, there have been additions, and Joan is working on that. She said there are now 887 items, including books, magazines, and newspaper articles in the catalog. There remains some additional newspaper articles and other miscellaneous items in the library which have not yet been cataloged. But the majority of the items are in English, but we do have 117 items in Spanish and a few others that are in English and Spanish. And I want to add that on the webpage, Joan is going to give me an updated list, and we'll have that onto our new webpage at alamoshistoryassociation.com. And we will then have all of the new additions we have to the library. And with our new webpage, we'll be able to update it daily if we want to. So I'm very happy about that. Our old webpage is permanent, and eventually it'll be discarded as we work with our new webpage. And I'm very happy to say we're making great progress, and that will be completely ready within a month or two. And a lot of it is up there now. You can go and look at what we have. I'm still working on it, but there's a lot of nice things on there already. Okay, I think that's every report that I
Very
have.
good. Thank you, Errol, and thank you, Errol, for all that you do for us. You do so much.
Ah.
We appreciate it. I was hoping that we would have Alan Price on Zoom, but apparently we do not. Pam, would you like to come up and give a little review on a couple of things? Our former president, Pam Price, and tell us a little bit about how Ellen's doing as well.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Well, yeah. Well,
you're there.
okay. I'm glad to say that my sister is returning to her old ornery self. She is herself again. So we're coming along there. However, she has been so preoccupied with the various issues that she's had health-wise that both she and I were negligent and didn't contact Alfredo Ortiz to ask him to go around and find out how many books more recently have been purchased from the different places in town where they're being sold. So what I have here, what I got visiting Ellen yesterday, 500 books of the second edition were published in 2020, the winter of 2022-23. And that cost was about 35,000 pesos. By October 26, 2025, 110 books were sold and or distributed in some fashion, and that brought in 20,000 pesos, 20,400 pesos. So I expect, particularly since the FAO festival that some books were sold when people came to town then. But we haven't gotten in touch with Alfredo Ortiz, who's our guy who goes around and collects the money and figures out how many books were sold.
And referring to the Alamos guidebook, right, which you see in various hotels and other locations.
Right, the guide, well, it's actually not exact, it's a guide to historic Alamos. To say it's the Alamos guidebook, I guess, is a little, doesn't quite cover it, because it does have small chapters on different aspects of the history of the municipality.
And where is it sold, at Kathy's Corner?
Kathy's Corner is a main place. Teresita's also, and Maria Felix Museum sells copies of it. I think those three places are the main places, actually.
Come on.
That's an idea. Right, very good idea. Thank you. I'll mention that to Ellen. Okay.
Thank you, Ellen. Thank you, Ben.
What, 400 left?
Well, I believe this is going to conclude our business meeting for the year. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you for the movie. Thank you for this wonderful season that we had.
Yeah,
And we look
thank
forward
you.
to, starting things.
Thank you.
And I believe, I know I looked it up last night, and I don't want to thumb through my notes here because that'll take me 5 minutes anyway. But I believe October 29th is our first Thursday of our next season. So we look forward to seeing everybody then. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank
Okay.
you. I'm